Hello everybody. Today's lesson is on half-life calculations. Half-life refers to the amount of time it requires for a radioisotope to decay 50% of its mass into a different isotope. That other one can also be radioactive or stable. And the equation itself is here. F equals A times 1/2 to the T divided by H power. And what do these variables mean? Well, F is the final amount of the radioisotope that you started with. A is the initial amount of the radioisotope you started with. T is the amount of time that has passed. H is the length of the half-life. And the fraction itself tells you the number of half-lives that have passed. The only really important thing to keep in mind here is that the units of F and A can be whatever you want as long as they're the same. Same thing with T and H. You can talk about weeks, months, years, seconds, whatever you like, as long as T and H are the same. Now, solving for F is pretty easy. It's right there. Solving for A is also hopefully not that bad, but solving for T and H can be a lot, because it's going to bring into play a lot of log rules, and so I'm actually just going to provide you with all the different ways to solve for these different variables. If you're looking for A, it's F divided by 0.5 to the TH, and if you're looking for T or H, you're going to use these equations, which are a little bit more complicated and require you to use the natural log. Now I'm going to show you a few examples here where we solve for each and every variable using our TI calculator. So, for this first problem, we don't have H. We're trying to solve for it. So we're going to use the H equals equation and plug in everything that we already know. We know that 10 years have passed. That's T. We also know that we ended with 2 grams. We started with 32 grams. And all of this is over the natural log of 0.5. And we get 2.5. What that 2.5 tells us is that the half-life is 2.5 years. And if we look here, we can see that 4 have gone by. Now, for this next one, we don't know what F is, the final amount, but we do have all the rest. And this one we can plug in using our F equals equation. 45 times 0.5 to the, in this case, 2 divided by 4. And we get 31.8 grams. Notice here that not a whole half-life has gone by. So we don't go down by half, we go down by a fraction of that. Now let's solve for T. If we're solving for T, it's going to look very similar to solving for H, except instead of dividing, we're going to multiply. 8 times, open that parentheses, the natural log of F divided by A divided by the natural log of 0.5. And we find out that 26.6 weeks have passed. Now let's try solving for A. If we know F, we know T, and we know H, we're going to use our A equals equation. 57 divided by, I like to do this in parentheses. You can do it differently if you like, but I promise this will work. 0.5 to the T divided by H, 5 divided by 1.5. And We started with 574.5 grams. We've now tried to solve for every single variable. Why don't you pause the video now and try to solve the rest on your own. When you're ready, unpause and see if you're right. Okay, let's check. This here is the same as up here, so we're going to be using our h equals equation. Time that's passed is 12 weeks, divided by the natural log of f divided by a, 5 divided by 50, divided by the natural log of 0.5, 3.6 weeks. Hopefully you got that. Let's move on to this one. Here we have an f equals, so we use our base normal equation. 108 times 0.5 to the t over h, and we get 0.11 grams. Okay, final one, t equals. We'll use our t equals equation. H times natural log of f over a divided by the natural log of 1/2, and we get 72 hours must have passed. I hope this helps doing calculations with half-lives. I wish you all the best. See you in the next video.